All right, let's just jump right in. We all know we're going to die, right? But so what? What does that actually mean for how we should live, like, today? That's the huge question we're going to tackle, and we'll be drawing on some fascinating ideas from the philosopher Shelley Kagan. So, check this out. Professor Kagan starts one of his lectures with this quote from Kurt Vonnegut. It's just this beautiful, simple reminder of how lucky we are to even exist. But then, and you can't make this up, right after that lecture, he finds out that Vonnegut had actually passed away just the night before. I mean, wow, it just takes this big philosophical idea and makes it incredibly real, doesn't it?
So that's our starting point, this idea of being the lucky sitting up mud. And it forces us to ask a really important question.
So here it is. How should we live knowing we will die? And look, we're not going to get bogged down in the sadness or the fear of it all. This is about something much more practical. It's about the choices we make every single day.
You know, the first answer that probably pops into your head is pretty simple. Be careful, right? Like a sergeant telling their crew, hey, be careful out there. Don't mess this up. You only get one shot. But it's not quite that simple. Because think about it for a second. The pressure to not blow it isn't really just about dying. Imagine you were immortal. You could still live a totally boring, pointless life, right? An eternity of nothingness. The only difference is you'd have infinite do-overs. We don't get any. Okay, so this is the real heart of the problem. It's not just that our life is finite, it's that our finite life is happening in an infinitely rich world. There are just so many amazing things to do and see and be. You can't do it all. And that's the real pressure. That's why we have to choose carefully.
So to really get a handle on this, let's use an analogy. It's a great way to think about our situation.
Okay, I want you to imagine you're a musician, and you've got some time booked in a recording studio. That studio, well, that studio is your life.
Let's unpack this a little. The amount of time you have in the studio, that's your lifespan. All the different songs you could record, those are your choices, your goals, all the different lives you could live. And the most critical piece of this whole thing? That studio time is limited. The clock is always ticking.
Now think about it. If you've got a whole month of studio time, you can relax, right? You can experiment, try out a weird new sound, mess up a few takes, no big deal. But what if you only have one day? Just one. Suddenly everything changes. The pressure is on. Every single choice is crucial. You have to pick only your very best songs, and you've got to nail them on the first take. That is what it's like to be us. So, if our studio time is that precious, that limited, what kind of songs should we try to record? This question leads us to two very different strategies for how to live.
All right, on one side you've got what we could call the small potato strategy. This is where you go for the guaranteed wins, the simple pleasures. Good food, good company, just enjoying the day. It's a safe bet. But on the other side, you have the large potatoes strategy. This is about aiming high, pursuing those huge, risky, ambitious goals, like writing a great novel or raising a family, things that could totally fail. But if they succeed, the payoff is immense.
And this conflict right here between playing it safe and going for broke, it sets up a really powerful thought experiment. Okay, so imagine you have two lives to choose from. Let's call the first one Life A. This life is shorter, but man, it is spectacular. It's filled with these incredible peaks of joy and achievement. For the sake of argument, let's say its total value is about 7,500 units. Now here's Life B. This life lasts an incredibly long time. So long, in fact, that its total value is way higher, but say 30,000 units. But, and this is a huge but, every single moment of this long life is just meh. It's only just barely worth living. It's never bad, but it's never great either. It's just, okay, forever. So, which one do you pick? You have to choose. Do you go for Life A, the shorter life with amazing highs, or Life B, the super long, mediocre life that technically adds up to more value on paper?
Okay, whichever one you chose, your answer actually points to something really profound about what we think makes a life a good life.
See, what Kagan found is that most people, when they're really honest with themselves, choose Life A. And that reveals something huge. It shows that we don't just add up the good moments like a computer. We care about the peaks. We value those soaring heights of experience, meaning, and accomplishment. There's this beautiful quote from the poet Friedrich Hölderlin that just nails this idea. It says, "Once I lived like the gods, and more is not needed." Just think about that. The idea that having just one of those peak experiences, just one moment where you live like a god, can be enough.
that can make the whole journey worth it.
So, the bottom line is this. Quality can absolutely trump quantity. A single incredible peak can be worth more to us than a long, flat, boring line.
Now, of course, it's easy to get a little too philosophical about all this, which is why I love this quote from Woody Allen. It kind of brings us right back down to earth with a good laugh. It's a perfect reminder that, at the end of the day, we're all still human.
And that really brings us back to you. It's the final and most important question. If it's the peaks that truly matter, if it's about those moments we live like the gods, what heights are you going to aim for? What songs are you going to record in your one precious, limited session in the studio?